Welcome to African Women in Decentralized Finance Faucet. In Africa, women play a critical role in driving social progress. They not only manage households, but also contribute significantly to economic activities, often in informal sectors. Despite their invaluable contributions, over 60% of women remain unbanked, facing obstacles in accessing financial tools and resources. Women are the custodians of One Health, a concept that recognizes the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health. For a baby to be born healthy, the mother's well-being is pivotal. Financial empowerment becomes a catalyst for this well-being, enabling women to afford nutritious diets, access healthcare services, and create an environment conducive to a healthy pregnancy and upbringing. Empowering women financially is a crucial step in disease prevention. With resources at their disposal, women can invest in better animal health care, improved cooking facilities, and hygienic practices, reducing the risk of disease. Financially empowered women can also invest in better sanitation, cleaner water sources, and improved housing conditions. This not only enhances immediate living conditions, but also contributes to long-term environmental sustainability and community health. Financial empowerment opens doors to education for women and their children. With access to resources, women can ensure their children receive quality education, breaking generational cycles of poverty and fostering a more prosperous society. Join us every Tuesday for our Learn to Earn sessions, where we empower women through DeFi, providing them with the tools and knowledge to transform their financial futures. Empowering women, transforming communities. Together, we can make a difference. Join our Learn to Earn programs every Tuesday. Check our website. Welcome to African Women in Decentralized Finance Faucet. In Africa, women play a critical role in driving social progress. They not only manage households, but also contribute significantly to economic activities, often in informal sectors. Despite their invaluable contributions, over 60% of women remain unbanked, facing obstacles in accessing financial tools and resources. Women are the custodians of One Health, a concept that recognizes the interconnectedness of human
All right, let's get started.
Okay, yeah. Hello everyone. Thank you for those who have joined us for our today's session. This being the fourth session of Circle 4 of our Learn to Earn program. So tonight we'll be discussing a very important topic, that is Actuate tokens and the new mother. In this session, we'll explore how Actuate tokens can serve as a powerful tool for empowering new mothers in decentralized finance space, providing them with opportunities for growth, financial independence, and support in the ever-changing digital economy. So I encourage you, everyone here, to actively participate. You can ask questions and also share your thoughts during the question and answer session. Remember, this is a safe and open space for learning and exchanging ideas. So without going further, allow me to welcome our topic master for today, Ronald. Ronald, you are welcome.
Thank you. I'm Ronald Anthony, and you are all welcomed for today's session. Today's topic is the Actuate token and the new mother, transforming public goods and human development. In a rapidly evolving digital world, blockchain technology has extended beyond cryptocurrencies and decentralized finance to redefine the way we manage and fund public goods. The Actuate tokens, comprising liquid tokens and soul-bound tokens, the SBT, has introduced a transformative mechanism for retroactive public goods funding. These innovations offer a new approach to sustainability and human development in communities, with a particular focus on health and water management. As the driving force behind Actuate, a blockchain in focused initiative, those tokens represent more than just financial instruments. They are vehicles for change, aligning incentives with long-term goals, particularly in underserved regions such as northeastern Kenya. But how exactly do these tokens work? And what role does the new mother, that's a metaphor, play in this paradigm? Liquid tokens powering immediate impact. Liquid tokens form the backbone of Actuate's funding strategy for public goods such as water projects, infrastructure development, and healthcare access. Unlike traditional finances models, liquid tokens provide immediate liquids to funders while tying their value to the measurable outcomes of a project. As more water becomes available to communities, for example, the tokens appreciate in value, incentivizing continued investment. The innovative approach to funding ensures that stakeholders ranging from private companies to non-governmental organizations and governments can see a tangible return on their contribution. In practical terms, liquid tokens serve as a bridge between investors and communities where both benefit through growth and development. Soul bond tokens, the SBTs, defining identity and legacy. Soulbound tokens bring a different but complementary dynamic to the Actuate ecosystem. Rather than functioning as tradable assets, soulbound tokens are non-transferable tokens that reflect individual or organizational contributions to public goods. Each soulbound token serves as a digital certificate, recognizing contribution and creating a lasting on a person's or institution's reputation. In this context, the new mother metaphor takes shape. The new mother represents nurturing a future built on long-term vision and care for communities, like a mother fostering growth and well-being in her children. The soulbound tokens holders invest in public goods not for immediate gains, but for legacy and impact. Their contributions are forever bound to their identity within the blockchain, offering a level of accountability and recognition rarely seen in traditional public goods funding. The role of Actuate in empowering women. Actuate is dedicated to empowering women by leveraging its innovative token system, liquid token and soulbound token, to drive social and economic progress. Through these blockchain-based tools, Actuate aims to create new pathways for women to access resources, opportunities, and recognition for their contribution to public goods. Liquid tokens offer immediate liquidity for projects that support women's empowerment, such as education, entrepreneurship, and community initiatives. Investors are incentivized to fund these projects, as the success of these initiatives directly ties to the token's growth. This model ensures that as women succeed and thrive, investors also see returns, creating a positive feedback loop of empowerment and economic advancement. Soulbound tokens, on the other hand, focus on recognizing and solidifying women's contribution. These non-transferable tokens serve as a permanent record of a woman's impact, highlighting her role in community development, leadership, or social initiatives. By linking these contributions to her identity on the blockchain, soul-bound tokens promote long-term visibility, ensuring that women receive the credit and recognition they deserve, both within their communities and globally. Actuate token system fosters a decentralized, transparent, and scalable approach to empowering women, helping them gain access to funding, opportunities, and the ability to shape their own future. This system not only promotes individual growth, but also strengthens communities by uplifting women and ensuring they play a central role in sustainable development. The new mother, nurturing the future of public goods. The concept of the new mother, that's a metaphor highlighting a profound shift in how we think about public goods funding. Instead of short-term, transaction-focused models, the Actuate approach promotes a nurturing, long-term vision where sustainability is prioritized. Just as a mother care in continuous and evolving, so too is the impact of soul-bound tokens and liquid tokens on the community they serve. By fostering accountability, Actuate tokens ensure that public goods initiatives benefit generations to come. Contributors gain both financial returns and an indelible mark of the future, similar to a mother leaving behind a legacy of nurturing. Looking forward, as blockchain continues to reshape global industries, the Actuate token stands out as a powerful tool in the battle for equitable human development. In tandem with a new mother metaphor, liquid tokens and soulbound tokens offer a model for both immediate impact and sustained growth. This blend of financial innovation and long-term vision promises to address the critical issues of our time, from water scarcity to health crisis. In conclusion, the Actuate vision is clear. By empowering individuals and organizations to invest in public goods and through blockchain technology, we can nurture a better, more sustainable world where the future is cherished as the present. Just like a new mother, we are called to care, grow, and shape the future, ensuring that communities thrive for generations. Thank you all, and that's the end of my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Ronald, for such a wonderful presentation about the Actuate token and the new mother. Thank you for clearly taking us through that topic. And also we have seen that Actuate play a big role in empowering women, in which we have seen that Actuate is dedicated to empowering women by leveraging its innovative token system. And also we have seen that the soul-bound tokens, which are the SBTs, focus on recognizing and solidifying women's contribution. So thank you so much again once, Ronald, for that wonderful presentation. So as you prepare your questions, allow me to welcome our CEO of Actuate Biomedicine, Dr. Macharia Warwingi. Daktari, you are welcome.
All right. Wow. Can you hear me? First of all, confirm. Dolphin, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dolphin. Ronald, wow, that's a standing ovation. I never thought of that. Actuate token, metaphor of a new mother, nurturing the future of public good. Can you believe it? Now, Mr. Ronald, you sound like a philosopher. Are you a philosopher? So that we can tell you, Mr. Ronald, the philosopher, nurturing the future of public good, nurturing the future of public good. Actuate token, metaphor of the new mother. Amazing. I love the way how you've tied those things together, tied for us. Now that makes things very, very clear. And you're saying nurturing this future, nurturing long-term development. Isn't that amazing? That's what it's all about. Just like a mother has to nurture a baby for the long term, because the mother is not going to nurture a baby for 1 year and then let the baby go out there and be eaten by chicken. No, the mother will take care of the babies even when they are 90 years old. They're still his children. They're still her children. That's what it is. So now Actuate token gives us that power. And of course, what the real power here is that women now can participate in funding public good or nurturing public good. Can you believe it? First of all, motherhood is a public good in and of itself. Motherhood is public good. Now see, how can we nurture that public good of mothering, mothership? But now the answer is use Actuate token. And then we have two distinct tokens. One token is the liquid token, which all of you know about because you have received liquid tokens already. And that liquid token is actually money. It's supposed to be liquid for helping you with transactions, to buy things here and there, to be paid, to get paid for things that you are selling. That means exchange of value, the value that you produce and the value that you want to claim. See? And that is one thing that women have been denied for the last 5,000 years, let's say 50 centuries. Why? Because 50 centuries has evolved the present finance system, which we have today. It came all the way from Caesar himself, even before Caesar. So for you to know how that evolved, read a book by Mr. Scott Grave. I forget his name. I'll tell you in a minute. The book is called The Debt in the Past 5,000 Years. Debt in the first 5,000 years. I want you to take that seriously. Read that book. That book is available on audio format. That's why I'm able to read it, by the way, because I don't read physical texts unless the text it comes with optical character recognition. But I read audio text. Okay. So I have read, I'm trying to remember, Adi Grover. The guy is called Grover. Oh, yeah, Grover. He wrote a book, Debt in the First 5,000 Years. The first 5,000 years was, I think, from the time of Abraham to the present. And he has followed the story of debt. he didn't write it from the Christian perspective. He wrote it from the empire perspective. Empires by the Roman Empire itself, Caesar himself, and Alexander the Great, the pharaohs of Egypt, the Greek empires, and so on and so forth. And he has tracked the story, and you have seen that story. From that story emerged the centralized finance system that we have today, that is designed to exclude women. Yeah, women, all you ladies, according to the people in the centralized finance system, you're not wanted. Why? Because people in the centralized finance system say you are not profitable. Yeah, we don't want women around here. We cannot make profit over them. Can you believe that? Then all those people saying that question, saying that stuff, I usually ask them, who gave birth to you? Yeah, who was your mother? Was it not a woman? See, that's why it happens that it's, you see, even in those centralized finances, there's some women working there making such decisions. Some women like Christine Lagarde, you know Christine? Who knows Christine Lagarde? Such women and others. Christine Lagarde has been the boss of the IMF for a while. Now I think she's the head of the European Union Bank. You would not think she's a mother the way she talks about money and excluding women from finance. Yeah, shameless. Is Christine Lagarde. And so she perpetuates this ideology of debt to continue us having debt. So Christine Lagarde is in France. She's a French woman. But that is not because she's a French woman, she behaves like that. It's because she has swallowed the poison of the centralized finance system people, which wants to exclude women. So read the book by Andy Grove. So Grove himself is an anthropologist. What is an anthropologist, ladies and gentlemen? Anthropology is the study of human beings. Yeah. So the way people make like is a human being, how you make a sense of yourself. So he studied humans, the evolution of mankind. And he found that mankind have got this penchant for creating debt for others so that others can die when trying to pay the debt. So read about that social anthropology from Andy Grove in debt the first 5,000 years. And then you can find, now, these tokens themselves, when they come around, they dismantle that system of debt that Andy Grove describes in that book. The entire finance system is built on debt. If you don't understand, so to make it easy for you, is that there's something we call the fractional reserve banking. Okay? Fractional reserve banking, what does it mean? Let's say the Kenya Commercial Bank issues money by something we call fractional reserve. Fractional reserve means that it doesn't have all the money that it is saying it has. It doesn't have all that money in reserve, but it is allowed by Central Bank of Kenya to go out to the world pretending it has the money so that it can actually lend it to people. Pure debt. How does that fractional reserve banking work? So in order for it to work, commercial banks like KCB, Equity Bank, and the like, they were given permission to just have 10% of the money in reserve. The rest of it, they create by issuing debt. So for example, if a bank has got deposits, the initial deposit of say, let's say 10,000 shillings, to make it easy, 10,000 shillings. It can now issue debt to other people worth of 100,000 shillings. Where is 100,000 shillings going to come from? So when you receive debt from the bank, you don't receive that debt in cash. What they do, they make an entry into your account. They give you credit. So because they know when you borrow 10,000, you're not going to spend 10,000 all at once. and they can lend 10,000 10 times. That means to 10 people. Then immediately they lend that money out. They start calculating the interest that you're going to be paying. Okay? So you're paying money when you're paying, because the next day you start paying money that you borrowed yesterday. So that money that you're paying is what they use to give liquidity, liquid cash to the people who want to come and withdraw the money or liquidate. So what they do is that they give you a check. The check itself is not money, it's not liquid. Or they tell you that now we have deposited money in your account, and your account will be reading that you've got money that you have borrowed. Okay? But that money is not physical. It is not real. And so how is the bank going to collect that money? It's going to be charging you a percentage. Now the percentage that they collect may be about anywhere between 5% and 10% from the money that you are paying. So by the end of it all, you will have paid the bank all the money, but the bank shall have made more money. And the money you borrowed, which is the principal, you shall pay that also. And so that's how the business of banking is built, is on fractional reserve banking. And that is what the entire economy is built upon. It's like the economy that's built on house of cards. And that is built on what's called promises, the promise to pay, or I owe you. Now, that system does not work very well with women. Why? Who has an answer? Because if you tell a woman that she's got 10,000 shillings, she might want to withdraw all of it and go and keep it at home, do things with it. So what's going to happen? The bank, first of all, it was pretending to have, the bank was pretending to have that money in reserve, but there was no money in reserve. So they collude and they say, okay, don't get women involved in this. Your people, you know what women are going to do? If you tell them that they can come and borrow, they actually can borrow the money, then this is not to denigrate women, but that's the conversation, that's the narrative. That if you allow women, they're going to come and withdraw the money, and then the bank is going to be illiquid. So the bank becomes, the bank goes under. So they are afraid of that. The banks are afraid of women. And why are they afraid of women? Because they are doing nasty stuff behind the scenes. And women do not allow nasty stuff. So they pretend that women are not profitable, they are not bankable, and we don't want women here because then they're not going to go into all the details, because women look at the details. They're very interested in what's going on. So if the woman discovers that, oh, you promised me, you told me that you have a full reserve and it was just 10% of the money, how are you going to feel about that as a woman? The guy is lying. And so the whole banking system is built on a lie, which is called fractional reserve. For those of you who do not believe, if you don't believe, or even if you believe, go and read that thing called fractional reserve banking and see how it works. So that money that comes from fractional reserve banking is known as future money. Because when you're borrowing the money, the bank is going to make money by the fact that you borrowed the money, not that the bank had the money in advance. So for example, if you want to borrow money for mortgage to buy a house, say a house is going to cost 1 million shillings. You're going to buy a big house, apartment, maybe it's 1 million shillings, that's not too much. An apartment for you and your children. So the bank is not going to give you 1 million shillings. The bank will, first of all, find out whether you can afford to pay back that loan. That means they're going to get what's it called, collateral. Collateral means that they get your title deeds and they get your other deeds. That then they tell you, now you can borrow your 10,000. You can borrow your 1 million shillings, but they're not going to give you 1 million in cash. Why? Because they don't have it. Okay. What they are going to do is write a check to the person who is selling the house. So that check is going to be deposited in that person's check. Like the check comes, say, from Kenya Commercial Bank and get deposited where? At Equity Bank. So Equity Bank is going to add in its balance sheet money that has come in, 1 million shillings. And then Kenya Commercial Bank is going to add in its balance sheet money that is going to come in the future. The money has not gone anywhere. It's going to come in the future, 1 million shillings plus interest. So none of them is going to report anything going out. They're all going to say that this is money positive. Now, you know, Dolphin is in accounting. If you look at the accounting for banking accounting in banks is the opposite of what you would do as an individual. What goes out to you as a loan, to them, they say is debit. That money has been debited to them. That has come to you as a loan. And so it comes in the positive side of the balance sheet. So the loans are considered positive by them. And why are they considering them positive? Because they are going to be earning money for them. That loan is money that they have earned. It's not money that they have spent. But that is on condition that you have more collateral that is bigger than that loan. So they can go and sell your title deed. They can sell your other apartment somewhere else, or they can go and sell something else. And well, eventually, sometimes they just sell that loan off straight away in the bank. And now, where they find that it becomes very difficult for women to participate in that party is because women don't have access to their title deeds for their shambas at home. So if it requires for women to deposit collateral, for you as a woman to deposit collateral, and that collateral is a title deed, then you have to convince your husband. And then it means that it's not going to work, because usually you cannot just borrow money on your own. And that's why women, all of them, become unbanked straight away, because they don't have access to collateral. Because fractional reserve banking cannot work without collateral. Because that time the banks will be saying, we hold 10 acres of so-and-so, we hold 100 acres of so-and-so, we hold so many buildings in collateral. Those are their assets. And that's why they put them on the positive side of the balance sheet. And they call them assets. These assets, when you borrow against your title deed, those assets are not yours anymore. And then that creates now, you could say funny liquidity, because it gives you liquid cash. It's not real liquid. It gives you imaginary cash, which is a check that is deposited in the bank account for the person who is selling the house. Let's say at Equity Bank. And so that person sees there's a check that has come in for 1 million shillings. And so now I've got 1 million shillings. But that person is not going to withdraw all that 1 million shillings. Now, let me tell you something else that happens now at Equity Bank. When Equity Bank receives that check, it's going to say, now we have 1 million shillings to lend. And now Equity Bank can lend that 1 million shillings times 10. So it can lend out as much as 10 million shillings out of the 1 million shillings check that has been deposited there in the fractional reserve banking, spirit, in the spirit of fractional reserve. So Equity Bank is going to say, okay, we have loans available. We can make loans for about 1 million shillings. People will say, but where did you get that money? This person just deposited his mortgage check here. So the person who deposited the mortgage check does not come the next morning and withdraw 1 million shillings in cash. But he can now write checks against that 1 million shillings. But then Equity Bank has already loaned 10 million shillings against that 1 million. And so on and so forth. So then that million goes to the person who borrowed, go and deposit it in another bank. The other bank does the same. So it's a cascading style of creating great nonsense. Yeah. Yes, and you see someone called Isaac Newton. For all those guys, for those of you who read Principia Mathematica there last week. Isaac Newton invented calculus. to help people understand it. He invented something called compound interest. Compound interest. And then even when Einstein was coming along, he said, there is nothing like compound interest. You start with nothing, you end up with a big blossom. Compound interest is like an orange tree which is just producing new oranges. So that compound interest, I think, is what captured the people in the centralized finance system. They created fractional reserve banking, and then they keep on multiplying money upon money for themselves. So the bankers are just bloating the economy, and there's nothing to represent that in reserve. You see? So that is the problem with the fractional reserve banking. Now come to tokens economy. Tokens, you can meet the tokens you want, but the tokens are represented now by one asset, like the actual token. What asset is representing the actual token in its reserve? The asset, you could say the real asset, let's call it real asset. Because let's say the banks have got no real assets, even when they talk about real estate, it's not real. The real asset that actual token is pointing to or representing is called the knowledge in your head. Okay? The things you can create out of your own mind. That's more real. The things that you can create out of your own mind is more real than that fractional reserve funny system. Why is it more real that what assets you carry in your head than all the other things? Because out of your head, out of your own mind, your own consciousness, yourself as an individual, you can create something like a stool, you can create a table, you can create things. So that thing needs to descend from your head to your hands, to your fingers, so you can make something. And who knows how to make lots of things? For example, you can make baskets, and those baskets now you can sell them in the marketplace. And now we are talking about translation science, where we are translating the assets that are in your mind, which is called knowledge. Or let's just say spirit, things you hope for, things you hope to create. Those things are called spiritual assets. Why are they spiritual? It's because they are not physical, they're not tangible. You cannot touch them and feel them. But they are intangible spiritual assets. So, and they're not fractional, like the traditional finance system as will tell you, fractional reserve bank, you don't need to fractionate them. What a spiritual asset is whole and complete. We only need to gain access to it. Gaining access to the knowledge in the mind of a woman is supreme. See? Because a woman will produce, besides producing a baby, a woman can produce a baby. Now that is not a hidden secret. Besides that, woman can produce what we are calling public good. Good, the work of a woman, the work she does, it itself produces a lot of value to the society. That value, you could say, is a spiritual value, because you cannot put it on a balance sheet, say, what value did the woman bring today by raising her children? Then in the traditional finance system, it was never, ever, ever possible to capture the value that the woman brings for, first of all, giving birth to the baby, being pregnant the whole 9 months, giving birth to the baby, breastfeeding that baby for another 1 year, so 6 months to 1 year, from her own body. What value is that? Where does it appear in the balance sheet of the traditional bankers? Where are they going to put it? Are they going to put it on the positive side, the balance sheet, or are they going to put it on the negative side? Where is it? And even if they put it on in the positive or negative side, how are they going to account for it? So there is no system for accountability for the value that women produced by just being mothers. Today, up to now. So you want to read Andy Grover, Debt, First 5,000 Years. But until now, we have never had a system for accountability that mothers produce by just being mothers until now. And because there was no system for accountability or accounting to account what a mother produces for being mother, women are automatically excluded from finance. Yes. So that exclusion comes because of absence of a system for accounting the value that a woman produces for being a mother. Or let's say for being a woman. Even her beautiful smile, even her nice laughter, even her pleasing style that makes everybody happy. All that stuff does not appear in the balance sheet of the traditional finance system. But ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you today, we have the technology for accounting for the value that a woman produces for being a woman, the value that a mother produces for being a mother, and that is on the blockchain. And that we are using it, we're working it with the Actuate token itself. And this is why we're talking about Actuate token being inclusive, instead of excluding women just because they could not account for their value. Even Christine Lagarde, having been the chairman of chairman of the European Bank. When you call her on the phone and send her a message, you tell her, Miss Christine Lagarde, you know, she's the head of the central banks. You tell her, Christine Lagarde, in your system, you cannot even account for your value as a woman. I think she's gonna be shocked, but I hope that she's not shocked to death. Don't shock her to death. Say, Christine Lagarde, your system has no way of accounting for the value of the public good that the woman brings to us, to humanity. And you say, what is that? Yeah, I see we don't. Yeah, I see, what is that? The value of the public good that a woman brings to humanity. And so now we are extending this metaphor even further, nurturing the public good. Nurturing the public good. The public good, the woman already produces it spontaneously for her being a woman, for her being a mother, because she's going to have babies, looking after the babies, carrying the baby for a whole 9 months in herself, and feeding that baby with her own body, not somebody else's. And then feeding that child, taking care of those children until even when they are 90 years old, they are still my children, my little child. And that is what the blockchain is able to do. Now, let me see how would the blockchain do that? How would Actuate tokens do that? First of all, I'm just saying is that we want to, and as we go along, we work together. Now we see Mr. Arnold Anthony, he has given us a very good framework. Okay, we need to identify, and I think this is going to come up at the summit in December, line by line, because accounting, they have line by line entry. Line by line, we want to identify line by line so that we can put line by line entry of the public good that a woman contributes in her own life, in her everyday life. And then we figure out how that woman gets rewarded line by line. And obviously for her to receive those rewards, she has to have all the wallet, you see. So every woman has to have the wallet. Then we build the liquidity pools so that the Actuate becomes, the token itself becomes liquid. And so when women receive rewards for providing public good, I think there's going to be more than, 90 entry points. And this will be asking the question, what is the breakdown of the public good that a woman contributes in her life? Okay. So now, here is a homework for you, Mr. Anthony, with help of all the women, all right, is create a list of line by line entry items, which are going to be to go to the public good framework for what a woman contributes to the public good basket. We call it the basket of public good. line by line. Then, of course, all we have to do later on is automate that, put it on the smart contract and say, this line by line item, so long as a woman does this, she gets tokened. She does this, she gets tokened. She does, and of course, people will reward the woman for doing those things, whether it's your little sister, your teenage sister, your young woman in college, the woman who is the mother, and the woman who is a grandmother, all the way. So we get line by line. And I think we can now dissect that in its, and just create line by line entry items. And I believe that when you do that, it's going to be very, very powerful. And we tell these people who have been building us upon debt with the fractional reserve bank that now we have a line by line accounting. Okay. We have line by line accounting for the public good that the women produce, such that in the centralized finance system, that accounting is not visible. It's not evident. We pretend it does not exist. Yes, although everybody knows, everybody, including the women themselves who are in the finance, they know that they will not be here except for their mothers and their sisters. They know that. And then there lacks a system for accounting for the public good that women produce. And that accounting system is coming in Actuate token. So that's what I would like to add upon that. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a revolution. It's an overthrow of the traditional finance. And I can tell you, we ended up there not by mistake. It's because we followed Isaac Newton so much. You know how we lost the way? Isaac Newton was studying the natural philosophy. Natural philosophy is things in the physical world. Okay? So when Isaac Newton developed calculus, he was trying to explain gravity. Gravity is how this force that is pulling the moon downwards, what's causing the apples to fall from the tree, and things that causing it to fall on the ground. That's gravitational force. So Isaac Newton was concerned with the physical reality. Okay. And then, because I think people are just lazy, they don't want to think so hard. They take Isaac Newton's work, all this stuff that Isaac Newton was doing for the physical world, and then they pose it on the spiritual world. As I can say, raising a baby is a spiritual work. You cannot raise a baby just by yourself, but there's something else that is there that is raising a baby. It's not you. It's not things that you do in the physical world that raise the child. The public good is totally spiritual. And so Isaac Newton calculus, which is based for the mathematics for the physical world, could not capture things that happen in spirit. You only need to read Matthew, the gospel called Matthew, to understand that. So Matthew said, what is born of spirit is spirit, and what is born of flesh is flesh. So the flesh does not comprehend spirit. Matthew said that. Even Paul, when he was talking to the Corinthians, he says that the physical man cannot comprehend the things of God. You see that? The physical man cannot comprehend things of spirit. And that is the whole thing. And it's already described for us, it's laid bare, but then we just want, why would you take the mathematics for the physical world and then we try to use them to comprehend the things of spirit? Like, yeah. So there has to be mathematics that is different. Mathematics of information. But now we have that now. So that's where we went wrong, because Adam Smith, when he came later on to try to explain the economy of this world, in 1776, he was also in natural philosophy over there in London. I think he was in Trinity College, same place where Isaac was studying. But that's how many, like 200 years later. He used Isaac Newton's mathematics to create the mathematics of economics, which is what we use today, 1776. And then he wrote the book called the wealth of nations, of the origin of the wealth of nations, 1776. And that is where we all went down that path with fractional reserve banking and everything. And then we took that so seriously that we forgot everything else. So even when the new mathematics came along, such as this mathematics of entropy, with the mathematics of information, we were so deep in mathematics of the physical world that we could not admit the presence of the new math, which is the mathematics of information. Information itself is not physical. So you could say information is spiritual. Yeah, could say. So we say in the beginning was the word. And the word, what is word? Word is information. The word was with God. Word is spirit. Okay. So mathematics of information, and I would like you for you to understand, to comprehend this even so well. You want to read Shannon's work, Claude Elwood Shannon, 1948. Now, for Dolphin, you can post the article by Claude Elwood Shannon, because available on Google. 1948. You can post to our people here so they can read it. What Claude Elwood Shannon was trying to explain, or he explained to us way back in 1948, is that you can capture information, which is called the word. Because see, how do we communicate? Because communication is spiritual. How I express myself, I don't even need to see anything. You will understand that by looking at me. It's called the body language. Those are spiritual moments. How a mother communicates with a baby. How do you see that? How do you know? Can you put it on a balance sheet and can put by numbers? Before Shannon could come and explain how that works, Einstein had tried to explain it. And he said, Einstein actually gave up along it, because Einstein's ideas were still built on Newtonian math. And Einstein said, not everything that counts can be counted. Okay, that's Einstein 1929. Not everything that counts can be counted. What counts that you cannot count, you cannot account for. Okay, you cannot account for something called love. If you put love on a balance sheet, is it love? Are you going to put the love on the positive side, on the negative side? What? And this, being a mother, taking care of the baby, the mathematics of that is called love, and love counts for the baby. And of course, she could not have made a baby without making love to her husband. So all those things, where do they appear in the balance sheet? That's why, because in Newton, even with all his geniusness, not Newton, Albert Einstein, 1920s, he could not understand how to account for that. How do you put love on a balance sheet? Yeah, how do you put that on a balance sheet? So a woman, a mother, operates on three distinct spiritual things that cannot be put on anybody's balance sheet until the information system came along. Number one is that love, which is also called charity. Number two is called faith. The woman operates on faith that what she's doing is going to take care of the baby, take care of the family. The woman cannot survive without faith. And what is faith? Can you ever put faith on a balance sheet and say, okay, these are the numbers. Okay, these are the numbers for the faith today. We made $500 trillion of faith, $500,000. We have 10,000 kilos of faith. Faith has no weight. You see, you cannot weigh it. And the number three is called hope. Okay, hope is what you desire to achieve for that baby, what you desire to have for that family, what you desire for your husband. what you desire for your sisters, what you desire for your brother, what you desire as a mother, the hope for goodness. And mothers are driven by that thing called hope. And faith is the substance of things hoped for. You know that. Faith is the substance of hope. There is no woman who can bring up a family without faith. Having that substance of things hoped for. How do you put faith on a balance sheet? Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that it was never, never, ever possible? That's why Albert Einstein, because I think he got the big answer puzzled by the question, now how do you account for all this, even with the Newtonian mathematics? How do we use calculus to account for hope? How do you use calculus to account for faith? How do you use calculus to account for love? There is no mathematics for that, except that faith, hope, and love is information, communication. Because when you're communicating something hopeful, you communicate to your child, then the child has got hope in you as a mother. And now that's information. See that? That is what Shannon tried to explain to all of us, lesser mortals, but we do not understand it. Yeah. And Shannon said that, okay, listen, guys. He said, okay, listen, you people. Listen. Everything is information. Everything is information. And if you can create a mathematics for information, then we are going to understand everything. Way back in 1948. So that's why I'm telling you, go back to the books, read the mathematics theory of communication, mathematics theory of communication. And when Shannon said that, he invented something called binary digit, or what he called bit. 1,000 binary digits called a byte, and 1,000 binary digits called a megabyte. Now you know, and that's the base for the computer science. And things like Actuate, Bitcoin, you see, Bitcoin, they are all building the science of information that Elwood Shannon gave us. So what I wanted to tell you is that this new math, the new basis for mathematics that helps us to account for the public good that woman brings to us. And that public good, the public good of motherhood, which is called love. All right. So now, Anthony, you're going to put a book of entries, like how do you account for love? How is this woman, how is she showing love to the baby, to the husband, to the family? And how does she get a credit? How does she receive credit for that? If you go to Equity Bank and say, I want credit for love, even the women there are going to laugh and say, are you out of your mind? You tell her, no, you're the one who is out of your mind. So now we need entry points, line by line entries. All those people who do accounting, they know how to put these line by line entries for these things of spirit. Remember, people in the traditional bank will not understand. That's why they're laughing, because the flesh cannot comprehend spirit. Because love, charity, and hope, they say love, faith, and hope, they are all spiritual. And against such things, according to Paul, there's no law. Okay, that means there's nobody who can tell you, oh, she's not profitable, she's not this and that, because laws are supposed to say what you should not do. Yeah, don't bank a woman. Don't bank her money. Don't be. It's not a do's and don'ts. There's no law against such things. There is no law. So that's what we are talking about. What really we are saying is the power. You understand that? And so all you ladies, you want to work very hard. Understand Actuate token very, very well. Understand its power to bring you back, because in the blockchain system, or in the blockchain itself, we have a system for accounting for things of spirit, things like love, things like faith, things like charity, things like hope, okay, which was not possible in the traditional finance system. I hope I have explained this well, but This is a very deep science with science of being. It's called science of being. It's not physical science like Newtonian physics. And I think this is why it becomes very difficult to comprehend. It's not even psychological science. It's called mental science. It's a science of being. Being is spiritual science. You see that? So that's the higher level of existence that we are now able to capture using the blockchain. Yeah, that we can capture those things. And we're getting, you get that what do you call that? We are getting exalted. It's exaltation, getting exalted step by step, so that we can find how to include every one of us, including all the women and the girls in the system. So the tokens that you see are representations of that representation. They're symbolic representation of that. They indicate what, see the capture and the same. So it's not physical work. So don't listen to people asking for physical evidence. Because, and that's why I want you to read the Bible again, like read Paul's scriptures. The natural man or the physical man cannot comprehend such things. The natural man cannot comprehend things of spirit. That's what's written. Because the flesh gives birth to flesh, and spirit gives birth to spirit. So when you find people confusing these things, you just want to say, okay, well, I forgive you because you don't comprehend. I mean, you don't even argue. You cannot argue stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. Because there are those people who are in that traditional finance system who right now they are scared. They are terribly scared of what the blockchain has come to do. They think they are going to dethrone them. But if they get dethroned, that's for good, because they have made extreme suffering in this world, in their fractional reserve systems. Okay, thank you so much, Dolphin. Back to you. And I think unless there are questions, concerns, philosophical thoughts, yeah. Back to you, Dolphin.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. for those wonderful remarks and also the additional points concerning our topic today, and also expanding our knowledge on the big role that women played. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, I've really learned, and I'll post to them the link to the Elude channel on the WhatsApp group. So if you have any question regarding anything that Ronald has taught or Dr. has mentioned, kindly feel free. Yeah, and if you have any additional points you'd like to contribute, feel welcome. Okay, you can also raise your hand if you have any question. Yes. So if there's no question, yeah, I guess mine is just to remind you regarding the summit. Please kindly register. Yeah, the link is on our website. Yeah, you can find there. You go to our website at Actuate Nation on Google, search Actuate Nation, and there you can go and look at the Nairobi Summit. There is a link for registration, which is only $150, and also you can bring sponsor in order for you to attend free, and also you'll be able to earn the 5% according to the package you have secured for the sponsorship, and also you can look for the exhibitors. Yeah, so yeah, remember time is running out, so register as early as possible. So if there is no any other question, I think I'll be posting the link to the form. Yeah, mine is just to thank our topic master, Ronald Anthony. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. And also I'd like to thank our CEO of Actuate Biomedicine, Dr. Macharia Ruingi, for taking his time, for being with us here, despite of many. Yeah, I know you are a busy man, so thank you for taking this time and also sharing your knowledge with us for free. Thank you. We really appreciate you. Yeah, and also I'd like to thank each and every one of you for taking your time, for your precious time and coming and learning with us. So thank you, everyone. So next week on a Tuesday, we'll be looking at Actuate tokens and our family women and our family woman. So yeah, thank you. I've just posted the link. Kindly fill in the form. Yeah, and also if you don't have the wallet, a wallet, kindly DM me so that I can assist you on creating a wallet. So thank you, and the meeting is adjourned. See you next week on a Tuesday. Yeah, we have another session on a Thursday. Yeah. Hey, Doc.
Oh, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Well, except that we're telling all of you that we are going to have to extend this conversation very deeply during the summit. I'm glad that how things are unfolding, because I think one thing that because all of you who are here, you have great advantage because you already know these secrets, which is not secret. You know about Isaac Newton and his calculus. You know about Adam Smith and his Wealth of Nations, economic theory. You know about Albert Einstein talking about love cannot be measured because he did know about information theory. Then you know about Elwood Shannon, 1948, who gave us the mathematic theory of communication, which means how can you measure that the content of communication is called love, is love? How can you measure the content of communication is hope? How can you measure the content of communication is charity? And how do you codify that? And that's called the information theory, which give us the binary digits from which we have built the entire computer science, on which we have built the computer money, such as Actuate, okay, and Bitcoin, but not without great resistance from the incumbents, even if those incumbents are women. What you have understood today is that now we have the technology for accounting for the public good contributed by a mother, the public good of motherhood. So what we're asking Rod and Anthony, so we can think about this together, is how we come up with the entry. And of course, that article, we want to publish it in Miami, what you have presented today, Rod and Anthony, because this is very, very instrumental, it's foundational what we are talking about. So at the summit, you can see the workshop is going to be highly eclectic because it's like something else is being born. Yeah, just like what Anthony was talking about. We give birth to new thing, a new way of the world. This new thing, this new way of the world is new world that's not built on debt. Like Andy Grover said, taking 5,000 years. So also, so you don't think, also look for that video by Debt in the First 5,000 Years by Andy Grover. So you can share it also here. African Women in DeFi, people can listen to that book. So you can comprehend. So the book is not as dense and complicated as works of Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein or even Adam Smith or even Elwood Shannon. No, that's a popular book. Popular means that it is made in language that's easy for you to read and understand. But until you read that book, you understand how debt has brought us into this level where women are excluded from finance. You know, technically, they are just, it's a technicality. It's not that people working at the bank can wake up in the morning and say, we are not going to admit in a woman. We're not, even if the woman is my mother, we are not. No, technically becomes impossible because of the underlying theory, the theoretical foundation of the finance system today. It does not see a woman. It's not able to account for the value of the woman. The woman is invisible. The work of the mother is invisible to the present day finance system. So it's like we want to shout out there. Remember like what Joshua was telling people. Shout out. I think it was the third day they were walking around these walls of Jericho. The walls of Jericho. And they said, let's start out with and shout out. All of us shout, and the walls came tumbling down. That's what we want. So we are talking about you shouting out so that the walls of Jericho, remember Jericho is that place that is covered. I think Jericho's covered. I think they had just crossed the river Jordan and they were going to the promised land. That's what you're talking about, going to the promised land. So they had to shout out. I think for the 7 days. Now, Dolphin, you can remind us about this because I don't know much about that story for Joshua, but I hear that he walked around that wall for 7 days. Is it true, Dolphin?
Yeah.
Who knows what was happening with Joshua and his people?
They were to conquer that city. I don't know.
Did I hear that one time Raila Odinga was saying that he's the one, he's called Joshua, he's leading people out of Canaan. He's across River Jordan. Anyway, so Joshua told his people to go around singing and then blowing the trumpet. I think there were bullhorns. And then shout at the top of their voices at once, and the walls came tumbling down so that they can gain access to what? Jericho. Because Jericho was this place that was really, had very strong walls, you could not get through into it. And what we are talking about, this walls of Jericho, remember all those are stories of symbolic representation of what's going on today. Okay? The walls of Jericho are the traditional finance system that has built a wall against everybody else coming in. So you could not get into Jericho. That means it was exclusive. You had to go through some small gates, which were predetermined. So you had to be scrutinized to get into Jericho. That means that it is like today's finance system. You cannot get in unless you meet certain criteria. That you come with what? You come with collateral. So Joshua himself did not go there with military might. He did not go there with soldiers. He went there with just ordinary people. And the reason they were able to get into Jericho is because they believed, they had faith. And all he's told them that let's go around, walk around it, singing and dancing, shouting. I'm paraphrasing here, okay? For those of you who wanted to get that story correctly, read the book of Joshua. And then because of what they were doing, shouting, they shout. I don't know what they were saying. What did Joshua tell them to shout? Maybe somebody knows this before I mess up the whole story. Ronald Anthony, do you know what they were shouting? Well, because they shouted, all the walls came tumbling down and they gained access to Jericho, and which was their promised land. Was Jericho their promised land? Canaan. Okay? So that is what we need to do. Shout on top of our voices about Actuate token. Shout. Because the way we are shouting this is inviting people to the summit. Invite everybody you know in your network, even those who you don't know. Tell them to come to Nairobi at KU. We have 3 days intensive workshop because it's going to be deep networking inside there. In that deep network, people are going to know one another. They're going to know the value of the Actuate token and what the Actuate token represents. And I think one major representation is the system for accounting for the public good of motherhood, the system of accounting for public good for motherhood, which has not been possible at all in all systems. So that's what we want to shout out. So I think even the following, in the spirit of shouting out, what we are going to do is create several messages to shout out the role of Actuate token, which Ronald Anthony called metaphor. Actuate token in recognizing the public good of motherhood. Okay, so that's the message for this week. Keep shouting on top of your voices, and tell everybody you know. And tell, did you know what that Actuate token will nurture the public good of motherhood? Yeah, I see. Okay, tell me more. So yeah, so as that is Kitenda Willie, just like Mr. Odinga used to say, Kitenda Willie. All right, so that's it. And so Dolphin post that message on, Adi Grove. We can look for it in YouTube. Yeah, debt in the first 5,000 years for people to read. That's for light reading. All right, if there's no further question.
I've posted.
Or you post it to WhatsApp?
Yeah, women in DeFi. Yeah, I'm posting to Actuate Nation also.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is Jericho, okay? That debt
Yeah.
is what's called walls of Jericho. Yeah, so we have found a new metaphor for it also. Thank you all. Today has been the day of metaphors, Mr. Anthony. All right, that's beautiful. So let's publish that article in Weavi so that we make sure we have it even in the future, because we use it for conversations in the summit. By the way, just an update about the summit for everybody. The summit is gaining serious momentum. When I say serious momentum, people from all over the world, they're asking, how do we participate? How do we join? What do we need to do? Every minute, I'm getting messages like that. And if you can imagine how many minutes they are in a day, that means that place is going to be jam-packed. Jam-packed. It's going to be jamming. And we can play that song by Mr. Rastafari. See, jamming. It's going to be jamming. Okay? That's what's it. All right. You have a good one, everyone. Have a good night, and we'll have a good afternoon, because here is just afternoon. Okay, Dolphin.
Okay, have a good afternoon also.
Okay, bye now.
Bye. The meeting is adjourned. Bye.